Welcome back. Round number 3 of our League Challenge here in Pico Rivera, California at Psycho Turtle. I'm Dennis Geisler, Arnie Wolf. To my right, I guess it's your left if you're watching at home. We are about to watch a normal game of Pokemon between Brian Perez and Charlie Kim. Brian at 1-1, Charlie at 2-0. Our one senior here today. Yeah. And I was talking to you on the stream. I think Charlie might be the best player here today, period.
No, for real, Charlie.
Do not let that senior tag confuse you.
I know, I was going to say, I was talking to Brian right before the match, and he's new. This is his second local. Good luck facing a world's top cut player on your second local. We're going to see Brian on the left with that Volcarona, Rillaboom, Golden Go, Fridgeraff, Sneasler, and Dragapult, while Charlie's on the right with Incineroar, Amoonguss, Palafin, Maushold, Dragonite, and Annihilate. And I noticed something interesting. Besides Amoonguss with its Pollen Puff, Charlie does not have a special attacker on his team.
No special attacker there. Curious what that'll amount to. I mean, the big thing here, we see that Sneasler and the Dragapult. We saw, we here at Psycho Turtle saw Michael Kelch running that same duo. This time it is with the Unburden and the Grassy Seed alongside the Rillaboom. But those two, the Dragapult and the Sneasler just have such good coverage combined with each other. Sorry, I am full of pizza right now. It's going to be the Rillaboom Sneasler lead for Brian, just getting that Grassy Seed picked up immediately. On Charlie's side, it's going to be Amoonguss and Dragonite.
Now, one thing I really love about the team on Brian's side is you really don't need speed control. You have two options to just hit really hard, really fast with Dragapult and Sneasler, and the rest kind of work in a Trick Room mode, which is what Fridgeraff's there for. It's also got Imprison. But it's kind of a passive play for against a very hyper-aggressive kind of balanced team with Intimidate. I think, as you saw, this is an Acrobatic Sneasler with Terra Flying and Sword Stance, which is an interesting little play there. No Protect on it. And yeah, just swapping out into Fridgeraff so you can't get Extreme Speeded is very good play. Again, a bit passive, but really good into the Amoonguss here. But Amoonguss just like, I'm not going to deal with that. I'm going into Incineroar. And that Intimidate now going to put a lot of pressure on Brian's side.
What a Rika cosplay. You see that? Sorry, I don't know why I'm so fascinated by that trainer. We're going to see the Terra here. It's the Terra flying Sneasler.
And I believe this is connected with the Amoonguss slot, so I'll do maybe 30% onto Incineroar. It is intimidated, so it's not going to deal a ton of damage at all. Oh, there is that Acrobatics animation activating, yeah. Yep, about 30%.
Incineroar eats that hit. Dragonite does go for the Aerial Ace, not the Extreme Speed, nice little move there. Still not going to do a ton of damage, would have done more against a non-paralyzed Sneasler, but still pretty okay damage, and still in all-right spot for both of these players to be in.
Yeah, this Fridgeraff's not really in a position it wants to be in either.
Yeah, the Fridgeraff wants to get out of here.
Yeah, right away. Knockoff is imminent.
Yep.
And Dragonite with Aerial Ace did quite a bit. The good news is it didn't do enough to KO Sneasler on the turn after. Incineroar swapping out is kind of smart because you expect, okay, I put too much pressure on this Fridgeraff. There's no way it's going to stay in. I can go back into Amoonguss safely. They're not going to click Shadow Ball and Hyper Voice. It can't touch Amoonguss very well.
Does stay in, though. Dire Claw does get the para against the Dragonite, and that means the Fridgeraff will move next, get the Hyper Voice, get the Throat Spray moving. We'll see what the Dragonite goes for. I genuinely think a Dragon Claw into the Sneasler will get it close to a knockout, if not actually picking it up. There is the Dragon Claw. 3 HP remaining for the Sneasler.
Ooh, okay, well,
and Sneasler is a flying type, so it doesn't actually get the Crazy Terrain recovery, but that is tough break for Charlie. I liked the play, but getting paralyzed on the Dragonite is really rough.
I think Charlie has a decent play right now, which is to Terra the Amoonguss to Water to dodge an Acrobatics, Spore the Fridgeraff, and then go for whatever move, Dragon Claw or anything onto the Sneasler. I don't think Sneasler can get rid of either. I think the obvious play is the Acrobatics on the Amoonguss. Or you can just Protect to get rid of the Sneasler, then Spore it. That also works, and you don't burn your Terra.
If you lose your Dragonite, you lose your Dragonite. I'm getting the feeling that
this will
Charlie is going to lose his Dragonite.
Not quite. But let's see if this Fridgeraff outspeeds it.
Yeah. I mean, it's paralyzed.
Yeah,
it was not a problem.
Not really what you want to see.
I think it's fine. You have a lot of options here. You can bring in your Incineroar at this point if you want, and then threaten to a degree, or the Annihilate. Actually,
I
yeah,
don't
like
mind
this
this.
Annihilate.
I don't mind this.
The Annihilate is Terra Steel. You can put the Sneasler in a bit of a 50-50 spot, picking between close combat or acrobatics here.
I actually really like this play for Charlie. I think you Terra the Annihilate to steal, swap the Amogus out for Incineroar to get the Intimidate going, and then Great Twist into Sneasler. That's what I think. I mean, you could bulk up too, but like, why? Just why?
I mean, you could even protect and get the Pollen Puff knockout on the Sneasler.
That's also not a bad play. Actually, and looking what's in the back, I think that might be more ideal, but there is Terra.
There's the see. It looks like Rika. Am I crazy?
It really does.
There's the Terra. It is Terra Steel on the Annihilate.
Gotta watch out for that Volcarona. It does have Overheat, but other than that, for the most part, in a good spot. Especially with Incineroar, you can dodge the Overheat. Acrobatics connecting. That's going to connect with Amoongus. Was hoping that it would take it because of the Intimidate, and it does. So Amoongus still in play. May not take a +1 Hyper Voice, but
I think it might
could.
With Citrus Berry. Annihilate will just bulk up.
Okay, I think that's a good play.
Spooky play, but we'll see if that pays off. Perdraft does Hyper Voice.
It does pick up.
And Annihilate, or excuse me, the Amoongus does not take that, and so that will leave just the Incineroar and the Annihilate on Charlie's side. I mean, the problem here is, I mean, even at +1 defense, that, and even at -2 attack for the Sneasler, okay, I'm selling myself on this play. Like, the close combat will still do some real damage against this Annihilate.
And really, there's not much that this Perez can do. It's got Shadow Ball, Hyper Voice. It can Hyper Voice again, which is nice, but I think a Drain Punch is probably the right play, and you just go for the knockoff on the Sneasler slot, or the Sneasler's going to hit.
Probably knockoff on the Perez slot, even.
Yeah, double. I think maybe double. Maybe you can double up on Giraffe, but
no, you definitely want to get rid of Sneasler. That's for certain. So I guess if you have one choice, then yeah, Drain Punch on the Perez is probably better. Actually, it's going to be the close combat into the Incineroar.
Oh, it actually knocks out.
Does not take that. -2, Sneasler still getting the job done.
Sneasler coming in clutch.
Sneasler is kind of insane. And it was a Drain Punch into the Perez, going to do about half the HP there, going to heal Annihilate back to full. Not that it was not going to do that this turn anyway, with the Grassy Terrain and the Leftovers. Hyper Voice,
quite a bit.
That does way more damage than I would like. I think at this point, Charlie just has to hope that this close combat does way less than
it is -2.
Than we are afraid that it might. But it is at -2, and this Annihilate is at +1. It will get a bundle of healing from a big Drain Punch against the Perez here.
I honestly think you just protect, Annihilate this turn, and get one more turn of Leftovers recovery. Also scout out a Protect or swap.
And
I'm just going for it.
Just going for it. Close combat, about half of Annihilate's remaining HP. That's not bad, given that Annihilate will regenerate basically all that chunk back with this Drain Punch. Oh no, it went for the Sneasler. I am doing it.
This is not great.
It's not great. It depends on what's in the back. It depends on the speed tiers of what's in the back, especially, because at this point, if whatever comes in is not faster than Annihilate, then you can Drain Punch this for, well, unless the Shadow Ball knocked out here.
Which does.
Yeah,
with a crit.
With a critical hit.
Theme of the day.
Brian Perez with the victory in game number 1.
Brian could absolutely say that was, I was like, you go in, you're facing a world's top cut player, and you win. That's already a win. But if you could cement that in a 2-0 victory, you've just made your mark on the SoCal scene, I think. But what I think, if you're Brian...
Troy, you got the wrong winner. Troy, you got the wrong winner. Wrong winner.
Brian won.
Sorry, I'm distracted.
You're fine. So I think here, if you're Charlie, I think this is kind of just something everyone kind of expects is Charlie. First, you had the paralysis on Dragonite, which I don't think really mattered in the long run, but it did help a lot because the Perez was able to pick up that knockout.
Yeah, let the Perez do a bit more damage to it, and it allowed the Sneasler to stick around. Like, there were a lot of margins that Charlie lost around, and some of it was, like, the 3 HP that Sneasler was able to hang on with.
Yeah.
Is that something that you can't rely on for either player?
Yeah. And one thing I really want to point out is Sneasler gets the Grassy Seed boost, that's +2 in defense, or +1 in defense.
+1, yeah.
And you look at everything on Charlie's side. Physical attacker, physical attacker, physical attacker, physical attacker, physical attacker. That's, I think, the risk of not running a team with a mixed spread like that. I will say, though, with Sneasler, it has a bit of a weakness. I think Amoonguss is Sneasler's worst nightmare. Terra Water Amoonguss, specifically. Because, I mean, yeah, you can close combat it. It's not going to do a ton after Intimidates from Incineroar. And then if you redirect, it does allow Mousehold to go for Population Bomb. And so I think that's kind of the key. When you actually look at Brian's
like, for
side,
what it's worth, Sneasler is still reasonably frail. Like, even with the defense boost, it is still reasonably frail. It's not going to take a ton of hits. I mean, it only took two
hits from Dragonite.
Hits from Dragonite.
With 3 HP left.
And that was both of them neutral.
Yeah, Dragonite and Incineroar, good lead from Charlie. Volcarona Golden Go leading for Brian.
I like the switch up here for Brian, but I also think that this might end up pretty badly.
Yeah, the Incineroar mainly just having Flare Blitz is really useful because Golden Go can't really do much. It's Shadow Ball, Make It Rain, Nasty Ball protect set with leftovers, although it is Terra Steel, so you can't even Dragon Terra away the Flare Blitz. So
yeah, I think you honestly could just go for try to hit the Volcarona as hard as possible, Flare Blitz into the Golden Go, and if it's a Rage Powder, then you get rid of the Volcarona, and what does Golden Go do?
Yeah, and
like, what are you afraid of Golden Go doing? Nasty Plot would be not ideal, but I'm not afraid of Nasty Plot right now.
And you really don't want to swap out, whether it's Furdraft, Sneasler, or Rillaboom.
And Dragonite even has Stomping Tantrum if you want to go for that instead.
Yeah. One thing to note, this is a safety goggles Incineroar, so can't get redirected by the Rage Powder.
That is true.
And Volcarona just goes straight Tailwind, which, honestly, I like. I think your speed control is going to be important, especially with Furdraft if you use that. Aerial Ace does about 75%.
Hold for Flame Body.
There it is. Charlie's Dragonite cannot escape status conditions today. And the Flare Blitz connecting with Golden Go, I think that's fine. I don't think
Charlie's not in a terrible spot. Because the next Aerial Ace will knock out the Volcarona anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually think you just click... you click Aerial Ace, it puts more pressure on, especially because...
It's not even that, it's that the Flare Blitz puts more pressure on the Golden Go, but you still want the Volcarona out of here.
Yeah. And I think Aerial Ace is just the safest bet, because whatever it is, it's going to take it not great. If it's Rillaboom or Sneasler, you're going to take pretty much half your damage right there, even with the burn. Dragon Ball is the one that you want. It's Rillaboom and Sneasler in the back, which is to be expected.
Yeah.
So,
although at the same time, if Charlie expects that, then Aerial Ace is even freer into that slot.
I think Aerial Ace is just the right call regardless. And overheats into the Dragon type. I mean, you're going down this turn, might as well go for at least some chip damage.
Yeah, Struggle Bug wasn't going to do anything either.
No.
Here's to Make It Rain. We'll see how much this does. Not much of anything. Dragonite is down to under half, but Dragonite being around longer. Ooh, went for the Dragon Claw into the Golden Go. That does, like, nothing, but the Flare Blitz doubling up. I'd imagine that would have knocked out anyways, but might want to keep the Volcarona around so that you're not bringing in Sneasler and Rillaboom on the same turn.
Yeah, you gotta pick one or the other. And depending on what's in the back, Sneasler still is threatening. But right now, the nice thing is it's not really doing a ton of damage, and also can't paralyze your Dragonite if you're Charlie.
That's true. Can't paralyze the Dragonite if it's already got a status. I mean, the problem here, again, for Brian, is that you can click Flare Blitz and Aerial Ace into the Volcarona slot, and the worst case scenario is that it knocks out the Rillaboom instead.
Yeah.
And so Volcarona's going to swap out.
I actually feel like Terra Ghost Flare Blitz is pretty decent into the Incineroar right now because you kind of bait a close combat, and Flare Blitz will do, even with the +1, roughly 50, maybe 40-ish.
I mean, yeah.
And now you also know that the Furdraft's not in play, so Extreme Speed is viable.
Yeah, absolutely. If you just need a tiny bit of extra damage, Incineroar is going to swap out.
Fair enough.
I think that's a fine choice.
Yeah, Annihilate's actually really good here, especially if it is a close combat. It won't take any damage.
Yeah. I don't know that it will be, though.
Extreme Speed going into the Rillaboom, yeah, it's fine. Get rid of the Volcarona, but...
That's a Swords Dance for the Sneasler, though. That's scary.
That is very scary.
That's I would call that a great read by Brian, honestly.
Yeah. It's back to the 50-50s, because if you go for Annihilate, if you go Terra Steel, and go for Rage Fist, Sneasler's gone. If you go for the close combat, though, and call the Terra correctly, great. But if you go for Terra Flying and Annihilate doesn't, Terra.
This Rillaboom,
It annihilates Gob, so it's like 50-50 here.
this Rillaboom does at least have a few options to change that 50-50 math a
a
little
bit.
It has the knockoff, which can do good damage against an Annihilate that does not Terra. It's got the Fake Out, which can stop an Annihilate that does Terra. And so you could go for something like the Fake Out, Dire Claw, into the Annihilate, but it could just protect in that case, so...
I think that's a good call, actually, is to go just for Fake Out plus... Fake Out plus Acrobatics, I would say. Just in case, because if that way, even if it tears a steal, that's the way. Smart.
I mean, it's smart. It takes out the Fake Out turn, which is ideal.
Oh.
We'll see what the Dragonite decides to go for. Well, it's going to get hit by Knockoff.
Not going down.
Still lingering. I think it'll get knocked out by Burn this turn, but does get the Aerial Ace off.
Oh, wow.
A cool 31 damage
that
to
was
Sneasler.
So much lower than I thought it was going to do.
Yeah, well, because it's half of what it did last game.
Yeah. There is one thing I'm kind of interested in right now, which would
Tailwind
be...
down.
Did Charlie...
That's not what you were interested in, but
no,
Tailwind is
but it still... It helps. A little bit, maybe. The Intimidate's good, but it's still +1. What's the last mon on Charlie's side? Is it a Moongus or is it Mousehold? I actually like the idea of a Moongus because you can redirect Sneasler's attacks. Like I said, Terra Water, you're not going to be doing anything to that, and you can just Rage Fist into Sneasler and get rid of it. And at that point, that's pretty much the game. But Fake Out onto the Sneasler. It can't protect. That's it. That was also... Yeah, it does not have Protect.
Yeah, it doesn't have Protect.
And, ooh, a bit of a greedy bulk up. I don't know...
It's greedy.
It's risky.
Fine.
I just... Ooh.
Rillaboom's going to U-turn out. Going to bring in Volcarona again, which can get one nice little redirect.
I will say the bulk up makes it neutral now with Sneasler, which is good.
Yeah.
Because you are neutral, and I mean, it's still going to do a lot with close combat.
Unless it tries to close combat you and you are you're not terastallized.
Yeah. This is a game of Terra guessing too on Charlie's side. Terra Ghost on Instant's very viable. Terra
Well, I think
Steel
at this point both of these Pokemon can kind of try to bait out the committal play. Like Brian can try to bait out a committal Terastallize.
Oh, that just made me realize something.
While finishing off this Incineroar.
Yeah, I actually really like the Protect and Parting Shot here.
Unless an Incineroar just drops.
I mean, I would have preferred a just Hard Swap, but close combat. Yeah, okay, that's not great. I would have preferred a Hard Swap, but it's. I like the idea if Amoonguss is your last mon to just bring it in, because what else is it going to do? And like. You can redirect the Sneasler and Terra Water. Maybe that's why the Terra was being saved. But it is the Amoonguss. So, yeah, I think that's a really, 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 really good position right now for Charlie. You tear the Amoonguss to Water, Rage Fist into Sneasler, then you go for Double Protect, and then you're pretty much free to just remove the last two mons. Because it's just the Rillaboom and the Volcarona, which is not really want to... It face into this Annihilate. They can't really touch it all that much. The best would be Overheat, but then if you go for the redirection here, you're going to have your Amoonguss, which is most likely Terra Water, take an Overheat and neutralize the Volcarona. I mean, you could Bug Buzz it, but like...
I guess the big
problem
Struggle Bug
is but that's
how do you consistently get this Sneasler knocked out?
I think it's a Rage Fist is decent.
And that's the problem as well, is that Volcarona has the ability to start clicking these Rage Powders.
Straight up Terra Steel.
Straight up Terra Steel. It's a little earlier than I would have imagined.
Yeah, I thought the water on Terra
I'll
Amoonguss.
the 50-50. Ooh, and it's just gonna... No!
Oh, right 50-50 call there.
Does get the 50-50 call right.
Spore.
That's big.
That's how you knock out. You click Spore. Yeah, and you know this is...
Rage Fist into the Volcarona, hold for Flame Body.
I think Flame Body would have activated. Yeah, okay, so there you go.
And the Spore.
That's it.
Into the Sneasler. That is huge for Charlie.
Really, really good play there. Not only that, but now it is just the Rillaboom in the back, and it's got Fake Out. That's fine, because what you can do now is Pollen Puff your own Annihilate, which does also not... Does it activate... the boost on Rage Fist?
I have no idea. That would be actually insane if it did.
I don't know.
that would be kind of... I would not...
Okay, we're gonna
barely believe it.
that seems like something Pokemon would throw in there for the heck of it. But yeah, I think at that point, then you just like...
I do think that Brian still has a chance here, mostly on the one-turn wake-up.
Absolutely. But still, then you can redirect it and Rage Fist it, and you're gonna, because of the fake out on the Annihilate, it's +1 in beat up. Okay. Chat.
I guess we'll find out.
Does Pollen Puff boost bulk up or beat up or Rage Fist, whatever move it is?
There's no way, right? There's a lot of stuff that Pollen Puff can do that's like side Pollen Puff can do that qualifies. It's gonna be the Rage Powder on the Amoonguss here. Sneasler still asleep.
And I don't think it really mattered with the redirection, but
I don't think it did either. But it certainly doesn't matter now. Rage Fist will pick up the knockout. That feels like something it wouldn't have been able to do. I have no. No, it got fake outed anyway.
Yeah, it got faked out. So
it was certainly going to pick up the knockout there.
I'm just like his Rage Fist.
Rillaboom. Big knock, but not going to do much of anything against the Amoonguss. That should be it for game number 2. Yes, it will.
Just record Pollen Puff does not boost Rage Fist.
Okay, that makes sense.
That would have been funny. That would have been really funny.
In any case, Charlie ties up the series 1-1. And we'll head to game number 3.
So I think here for Charlie, you led right. You just clicked the right leads. There was nothing there that was too scary with the Dragonite, Incineroar, and Amoonguss Ape in the back. I don't think Palafin really is going to help you here at all. It can Wave Crash and take some hits, but you kind of have to swap it, which you don't want to really do against Brian's team. If you're Brian, I'd revert back a bit to the first match. I think for a draft brought some more value than Golden Go did, just stopping extreme speed. But I wouldn't even be surprised to see Dragapult here. I'm actually surprised we've not seen Dragapult here. It's really good into Charlie's team, because you can, with Amoonguss, you gotta worry about Spore, but then Maushold cannot Population Bomb. Annihilate, maybe that's the reason you're scared, but you've got a really nice Choice Band Phantom Force into it, or Terra Blast. This is not the Terra Dragon set, this is the Terra Ghost set. So there's like a couple good options there. Dragon Darts is super powerful into the rest of the team. You got U-Turn to swap out, so I actually think you lead Dragapult, and I would say Dragapult, Sneasler, and then you turn out into Rillaboom, and then keep Volcarona in the back just for Rage Powder support. But that's what I would do. If you're Charlie, I just think you bring the same 4, same order. Even though it didn't... It may have burned your Dragonite. It did a little bit of a struggle to recap. It just having the offensive pressure of the knockoff and Flare Blitz combo with the Dragonite combo. Well, it works.
And then I equally ask, what would Palafin or Maushold bring to this team right now?
Maushold is
not a lot.
Yeah. It Population Bomb into something that can burn you, a Ghost type or Golden Go. No.
And Dragapult and Flame Body.
Not worth it. And Palafin. You don't want to bring Palafin when you know Rillaboom's coming in. Like, it's not great.
Yeah. Or for a Giraffe, for that matter.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I take it back. Palafin's in play.
Never mind. We lied. We're the worst commentators.
Literally. What? Well, what if you bring him out? How about Charlie brings in Maushold and Palafin? Okay.
Yep.
There you go.
Well, regardless, I think this Palafin has to switch out right now, get that hero form.
I actually think Dragapult's in a bit of a tricky spot. Dragon Darts is not going to KO the Maushold in 1.
Well, and the Maushold knows that... I would assume the Golden Go is not in the back. The Maushold might just go for the Population Bomb into the Rillaboom slot and see what happens.
Absolutely what I would do.
You're going to be Intimidate only on the Rillaboom, Clear Body on the Dragapult.
I do think that Fake Out is a good call. Yeah, okay, Protect works. Dodge the Fake Out.
Perfectly fine first turn.
Question is, what move does Dragapult walk into? I think it was Dragon Darts, which is going to provide a +2 into Incineroar.
Crit.
Yeah, that crit may have... That's going to KO the Incineroar.
That might just KO the Incineroar. Yeah, sure will. Dragon Darts, very strange move. Does pick up the KO there.
It is a fun move, I'll tell you that.
I don't know how necessary the Incineroar was to winning this game for Charlie, but I do think that losing it this early is not going to be ideal regardless.
No.
And the last Pokemon is that Amoonguss.
No No Annihilate this turn.
No Annihilate and no Dragonite.
This is actually... I'd say this is good for Charlie. Because I think you just cook Population Bomb into the Rillaboom. Oh, the question is, does Dragon Darts plus Grassy Glide KO the Mousehold?
No way.
I don't...
Not just one of them.
Because then you could just Spore out on Dragapult and Population Bomb. But that Golden Go...
Man, there is a Golden Go on the back. I didn't think it would be there.
You're
relying. It's true.
You're relying on Palafin so much in this match if you're Charlie.
Yeah, Palafin's the only thing that does anything. And Charlie might have not been expecting Dragapult to come and might have thought that he forced the Golden Go out of the way.
Yeah. Rage Powder coming in, so that will detract the darts. That's good. So you do get your Population Bomb. I'm actually surprised you didn't see Spore, though.
Grassy Glide still going to connect there. Dragon Darts does okay little chunk to the Amoonguss, who will eat up that Citrus Berry.
The only thing right now is with Golden Go, like I said, you really gotta play Palafin with a Wave Crash. I should maybe Terra Water.
1,
KO.
2,
Is this really
3,
gonna take it?
4, no,
It shouldn't.
5,
It shouldn't. Yeah.
6,
Critical
with a
hit.
crit,
There you go.
7, 8,
That's it.
and there we go.
What's wild with Population Bomb, you have a 50-50 shot of critting. At least once.
That is true, yeah.
Adding extra damage into it
A lot
because
of real nonsense in there. real nonsense type move.
Yeah.
Surprised we are not seeing more Rocky Helmet Amoongusses to deal with that. To deal with that guy. Here's the Golden Go, so another thing that Mousehold is not able to deal with. It has no moves that hit Ghost types.
I think this is fine, actually, for Charlie.
I do think it's fine for Charlie, but
just swap the Mousehold out.
there's one thing that either of these Pokemon does right now, and it's Spore onto Dragapult.
Yeah, that is the play. That is the play. I actually think if you're Brian, you could play the weirdest play, which was you could swap out your Golden Go to Sneasler.
Yeah.
Dragon Darts KOs. What's interesting about
Does
this?
the second Dart still go?
No, I believe not. Yeah.
That's a nice little piece of work then.
Yeah. That's what we're about to mention, is that the Dart doesn't do it.
Amoonguss barely gonna take that hit. Goes for the Spore, gets it onto the Dragapult. And that'll be big for this Palafin switching in now. As I think it depends on speed.
This is interesting. How
Palafin is faster than the Golden Go,
Absolutely.
so it can go for a pretty nice simple wave crash into that slot.
I think you got to Terra Water, just in case.
I mean, the other option is Terra Water Amoonguss, which I don't think does that much for you at this point.
No, because Sneasler will still knock out regardless.
And all of Palafin's moves are water type, so you might as well
Just
click
go
Terra
for it.
Water and go for it. As we see here,
I think Brian's in a really good spot.
there is the Terra Water Palafin.
Brian's in a great spot because I'm looking at Palafin's moves. You have Wave Crash and Jet Punch. That's it. That's not going to do a ton on the Dragapult. Dragapult's bulky. Even if it's not bulky, it's bulky enough to
but it's
take.
still
I think it's bulky enough to take a Wave Crash. And the Protect, yeah, you got
Golden
to
Go protects. And so does Amoonguss.
just in case. Why not?
Yeah, sure, I guess. very yeah, sure, I guess. Dragapult takes the first sleep turn.
I'm assuming this is Wave Crash connecting with Bolt.
This might come down to Spore turns. Ooh, does actually call out that. Goes for the Wave Crash into Pult.
That does
not pick up the knockout, but that did a ton of damage. Jet Punch KOs. Jet Punch totally KOs.
Oh yeah, that does so much more than I expected.
Palafin is actually kind of insane.
Palafin's
we sometimes
wild.
forget. We sometimes forget because Palafin's been away for a while.
Yeah.
Has been in the has not been in that superhero hero form for a while. But man, that thing does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Amoonguss goes for the double protect.
That's fine. Even if Dragapult wakes up, I don't think it knocks out either one here.
Wakes up. That's kind of bad though.
I think it's okay. Yeah,
It's not gonna knock out either.
That was what you needed. If that Amoonguss was gone, this was over. But the Wave Crash picks up Golden Go here.
I think the problem here is that Palafin's on such low HP, and why did you protect there if another option would have been to side Pollen Buff?
Yeah, actually, the Protect was a bit... Ooh, the Protect not landing actually saved Charlie's game. Because now, I think you're free to just Jet Punch onto Sneasler, which...
Sneasler didn't get the Unburden.
That, more importantly, it doesn't have a +1 in defense. It's going down to a Jet Punch. And if you Rage Powder, as we explored earlier...
Yeah. Yeah, no, actually, there's the Rage Powder. Let's watch this play out in real time.
I think if you just click Jet Punch, you can pick this up.
Jet Punch into presumably the Sneasler. We'll see if this. No, it's into the Dragon Ball. I like that.
Yeah, that's better.
Either one works equally. They work to similar degrees for similar reasons.
Yeah.
Sneasler will get that acrobatics off. It'll have reduced damage, or normal damage, I suppose, not boosted damage because of the item that it still holds, but that's not really important here.
Going for the acrobatics. Basically, this comes down, does Jet Punch KO?
Does Jet Punch KO?
It does, and Charlie
sure does.
Picks up his third win of the day. That is why he is a world caliber player.
Oh boy, that was a tight one though. That was a real close one, and it all came down to, my goodness, does Palafin do a lot of damage?
Let me just say, that protect on the Amoongus, if it protected, the Dragon Dart's Wake Up would have double targeted the Palafin, and Palafin would have been gone. That was this close. Again, that's the theme of the day. Matches that are that close. But good job to Brian. I mean, for your second tournament, you go 1-2 against a Worlds player. That shows you've got a lot of promise.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's it's a tough region. Yeah. This is a very tough region. Absolutely. Even our seniors are top players.
And, important to note, 1-2-2 might get in. If you go 3-1, definitely. At least, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be close, but 1-2-2 might get in. So stick around. You might see a 2-2 player on stream later, but we got the last round of Swiss coming up in just a few minutes. So grab some popcorn, grab some water, go to the bathroom, and come back. Bidoof. We'll be waiting for you.